What's up, guys? This is EJ Holland with the Wolverine.com, and we're back with another Michigan recruiting report here exclusively on our YouTube channel. Michigan is getting ready for a big recruiting weekend in Ann Arbor. Before we break it down, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel for free, get notifications every time we drop new videos, and also subscribe to the Wolverine.com, get exclusive insider information on everything Michigan recruiting, the transfer portal, the team, all this stuff going on with the NOA. Head over to the Wolverine.com, join thousands and thousands of users, and join for $1 for 2 months. Use that promo code UM1. All right, guys, let's get into the weekend visitors. So Michigan will be hosting a good group of recruits this weekend, as well as a key transfer portal target. And we'll start off with him. We'll start off with Pat Coogan. Notre Dame transfer, the rah-rah guy, the de facto team captain, I guess, when leading Notre Dame onto the field. He has a big personality, great kid too. I mean, I really enjoyed my time covering Pat Coogan when he was a recruit. I visited him at Chicago Marist when I first started on this Michigan beat. So, yeah, I mean, in terms of Michigan's chances, look, he's visiting Ole Miss as we are recording this. Indiana's involved. Michigan's set to get him this weekend. I think the Wolverines can make a good move for Coogan. I think he would be a culture fit at Michigan. I think opportunity is there when you look at Coogan. He's a guy that can play center or guard. You know, Greg Crippen wasn't the full-time starter at center this past year. Coogan can definitely push him and potentially win that job. When you look at guard, Michigan obviously brought in Lawrence Tatar, but he's making the jump from Division II Ferris State to Michigan and can't take part in spring ball. Now, Coogan probably wouldn't be able to either due to Michigan's registration deadline, but he's a guy that has more than 20 starts under his belt. I don't think spring ball is necessarily a need for Coogan. I think he can come in, he can play right away at either of those two positions and make an impact in the locker room as well. So I think Michigan is in a good spot going into the weekend visit. They just have to survive Ole Miss and, maybe Indiana, but I think the Wolverines are capable here of pulling in Coogan. You have to keep in mind, he was a teammate of Michigan linebacker Jimmy Wolder at Marist, so that's definitely something to know. Let's go ahead and move on to the actual recruits. We're going to be talking about on 300 wide receiver Travis Johnson, who we've spoken about quite a bit here on the YouTube channel. Obviously, Travis lives like 20 minutes from me, so I see him all the time. And look, I really like Travis. He's that big-bodied receiver at 6'3", 180 pounds, but not a true burner, but a guy that's very athletic. He's a star on the basketball court. He has strong hands. He has terrific body control, a little similar to Jacob Washington, who Michigan landed this past cycle, but I have Travis graded higher. I think Travis can continue the trend of adding size to Michigan's wide receiver room, which has been important. You saw the Wolverines do that with Jamar Browder and Jacob Washington last cycle, adding Donovan McCulley out of the transfer portal. They've wanted to get bigger, and I think Travis can provide that in terms of where Michigan sits in his recruitment. Like, I think Michigan has a great shot at landing Travis Johnson. Sharon Moore recently stopped by his school, had a chance to visit with him and his mother, Tiffany, who is fantastic, one of my favorite recruiting parents out there. And I think Sharon Moore made a really strong impression. Ron Bellamy was in to see Travis a week before that and has been in consistent communication with Travis as well. So I think Michigan's pushing all the right buttons. They hosted him for a game day visit in September. This winter visit, I think, will give him and his mom a chance to get an even more in-depth look at the program, get to spend more time with Sharon Moore, see what it's like when it's not a game day. He'll get individual attention. He'll get sit-down meetings with Ron Bellamy and Sean McGee. So, other schools are definitely involved here. You have Miami, you have Texas A&M, Penn State, West Virginia. But overall, I like where Michigan is. I think they can make a big move this weekend. And like I said, I like Travis as a kid a lot too. I think he would be a great culture fit at Michigan. And I think he could be an early impact player and really be a go-to weapon for five-star quarterback signee Bryce Underwood. All right, so let's flip over to the defensive side of the ball and talk about on 300 defensive lineman Germaine Kinsler out of Bergen Catholic in New Jersey. This is another kid that Sharon Moore recently stopped by to see and is making a strong impression. So is Lou Esposito, Michigan's defensive line coach, who is originally from New Jersey. I really like Germaine Kinsler. He's kind of a quiet kid, but he's a guy that I thought dominated when I saw him live this season. I actually saw him against IMG Academy, which has Division I recruits across its offensive line. He had a really, really strong game. He's 6'5", around 270 pounds. I think 260 is a little light. I think he played the season at around 270, but he's a guy that kind of reminds me of Michigan transfer signee Damon Payne in that he's that tall, long interior defensive lineman. He's kind of a, just a really athletic presence in the interior. So it's hard to find that combination of size and athleticism. And I think Germaine Kinsler brings that. He's listed as the number 173 overall recruit nationally. I actually think he has a chance to jump up into the top 100, depending on how he looks this offseason. But based on his in-game against IMG Academy, I would have him right up there. In terms of Michigan's chances, Michigan has a good shot here. He visited in September for the game against Texas. There are several other high-end programs involved here, but I think Michigan's done a really, really good job with Germaine Kinsler early on. All right, let's stick at Bergen Catholic and talk about rising edge CJ Edwards. So, Kinsler's not the only prospect that Michigan likes at Bergen Catholic. CJ Edwards is a really intriguing edge. Like I said, I got a chance to see Bergen Catholic against IMG this past season. And even though CJ is not the highest rated guy ranked in the 700s, he's that kind of tall, lean, athletic pass rusher, 6'5", 215 pounds. And that's not really something that Michigan was able to land this cycle. You had a guy in Nate Marshall who's more compact and might be an interior guy whenever he's done adding weight. You have Julius Holly, who's kind of a shorter, compact guy as well. You have Chase Taylor, who could convert from linebacker. So they're kind of missing that taller, longer guy. Again, CJ Edwards isn't ranked super high, but he has a high ceiling. He flashed when I saw him live, and that frame is something that really, really intrigues me. Michigan's actually the leader for Edwards on the On3 recruiting prediction machine, and they'll have a chance to continue to increase that this weekend. The last prospect on our list is also from Bergen Catholic. We'll be talking about four-star defensive back Jordan Thomas. So Jordan's a guy that's been on my radar for quite some time. He was, really highly touted as a young kid. He's currently ranked as a four-star on the industry and has kind of been knocked off a little bit because On3 has him as a three-star. I like where he's at in the industry. I think that Jordan is a really quality, versatile defensive back that can play multiple positions. Jordan had a really good in-game performance against IMG as a true corner. I think he can play some nickel as well. I think he can play some safety too. He's a really, really intriguing piece on the back end that you can do a lot of different things with. He's 6'1", 185 pounds, plays with great instincts, really technical. Also, one of my favorite kids to interview and talk to this cycle early on would be a great culture fit and leader at Michigan. I think he's the usual Michigan type kid that the Wolverines look for. Michigan had him on campus for the game against Texas in September. I think they're high on his list. I exchanged several messages with him earlier in the week, and he's definitely excited to get back on campus, definitely excited about Michigan, told me that the Wolverines are definitely a top contender. So they'll have a chance to move the needle even further on his visit this weekend. All right, guys, so those are 5 key recruits visiting this weekend. For more on the big weekend, head over to thewolverine.com. Subscribe today using that promo code UM1. That's $1 for 2 months at thewolverine.com. And also make sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel for free. Get notifications every time we drop new videos.